What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how you can use structures in your C# stuff. It's going to be really simple, really fast. Try to keep it under 10 minutes. Basically what we're going to do is I'm going to use an example of a player for a structure. So I'm not going to be doing any kind of network communication with my PS3. PS3 is not even going to be part of this tutorial. So I'm going to keep that out of the way, and I'm just going to keep it really simple so you guys can grasp the concept of what a structure is and how you can make your own. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Visual Studio, and I already have a project open, and I'm just going to make a new one. Okay, and I'm going to call this Some Tut for YouTubers. Okay, that's a cool project name. I'm going to be doing a C# console application. Keeping it really simple. I'm not going to be using a GUI because that's totally unnecessary. Just saying. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this program class because I really don't like it being called program, and I'm OCD, so I'm going to rename it to something cooler like core component. Yes, I'm sure. Okay, so with a structure, basically you're using you're creating your own data type, and you can use this to access information for whatever your structure is dedicated to. So in this case, I'm going to be doing a structure for a player. So I'm going to add a class and I'm going to call it player. Simple. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to be using like 5 variables that are going to be really simple, not that hard to grasp the idea of these variables, and they're really simple. So we're going to be doing the client ID of the player, and if you're watching this and you've never seen anything about Call of Duty modding or any of that, don't worry, I'll try to explain this as best as I can. So we'll have a client ID, a public and weapon, or a primary, current primary, wep index, a current secondary wep index, and then like a public float health, and then like public float array origin, and then public float array angles, and maybe FOV if you want to store it in there. It's whatever. It's whatevs. Okay, so we're going to put all that stuff in there. Does nothing right now. And the thing with structures is you don't actually access this data straight away. You have to use functions to actually get and set information to these variables. So we're going to make our structure. The structure is what initializes the instance of whatever structure you're creating. So in this case, it's going to be a player, so we're going to name this constructor player. And we're going to pass in one parameter, and that's the client ID. So we can let the computer know what client ID we're working with. Okay, now we're going to set the client ID to client ID. Very simple. All we're doing is we're taking this current value for this specific player, whichever one it is that we create, and we're setting it to this parameter that we pass through. Now we need some getters and setters, so we'll have a public int get primary. This is going to be really simple. It's going to return this dot current primary weapon index. Who would have thought? And then we're going to have a void set primary. This is going to take in a int weapon. This is the index. Actually, I'm going to be real smart sounding, and I'm going to call this weapon index. We're going to say this dot current primary weapon index is equal to weapon index. Okay, nope, that's not what I want. Weapon index, thank you. Auto save, whatever you're called. Okay, so we're going to copy this for secondary. We're going to say get secondary, and what do you freaking know, that's going to return the secondary variable. Secondary, I cannot type, current secondary wep index something. Yes, I got it right. Okay. Set secondary this dot current secondary wep index is equal to weapon index. Okay, that sounds good. Get secondary, set secondary, get primary, set primary. Okay, so the weapons are out of the way. Now we need health. We need to return health, so we're going to say public float get that health. Okay, we're just going to return this dot health. Very simple. Public void set health. We need to pass in a float health. God mode. This dot health Heath. This dot Heath bar is equal to Heath bar. No, this dot health is equal to health. Okay. We got that set. Stop. Error. Go away. Health. Okay, now we need origin. Public float array get origin. You know what? Yeah, this is good. Okay. Oh, this code wrapping. Return this dot origin. Okay. Public void set origin. Float array origin. This dot origin. Oh, this is like killing me right now. This dot origin is equal to origin. There we go. Okay. Return this dot origin. This dot origin is equal to origin. Okay, that's origin. Now we need the same thing for angles. Do this really fast. Really fast. Really fast. Get them angles. Okay. We're gonna turn angles. Simple. This dot angles, not angelice. This is in Spanish. This dot angles is equal to angles. Okay. Is that it? FOV. You kill me. Okay, that's it. And so now we need to do public float get FOV return FOV public void set FOV a float FOV, and we're going to say this dot FOV is equal to FOV. Okay, now I'm just going to make a simple print line function public void I print line string message. Since we're not going to be messing with our PS3, we're just going to write this out on the console. And so we're going to say console dot write line server message to, and then we'll say the client's name. So we'll say this dot client. We did not make a variable for a client name, so we have to make that. Well, we don't need to, but I'm going to, because I've already used the variable, which isn't initialized yet. So it's like variableception. This dot client name plus the actual message. So message received, dog. Server message to this dot client name. It sounds about right. Just make it look cool. I'm gonna put that right there. Okay, so now we need to make a string called client name, because you know every client has a name. And then I'm actually just going to pass in a name for that. Why not? So string client name. We'll give ourselves a name. Alright. So this seems to be working pretty good, and we're missing a bracket. Ba-bam. I'm about to get some Mountain Dew. Hold on, guys. You're about to hear me slurp. Oh, that's the best sip of Mountain Dew I've ever had in my life. Just saying. Okay, so this class is done. We've set up all these functions, getters and setters, to get information from this player and set information from this player. Now I'm going to show you how to actually initialize a player in your main class, or whatever it is you're doing. If you're doing this in a DLL, if you're doing this in C++, well, I'm not even going to say C++, because this has nothing to do with C++. If you're doing this in a DLL, if you're doing this in a Windows Form application, whatever it is, this is a console application, but this is going to easily be ported. This is like a C# class. It's the same thing if you're using it for whatever. Okay, so we're going to go up and we're going to say a public static player, which is the class we made, and I'm going to name this player self, is equal to new player. You know what? I'm not going to initialize it yet because I need to explain something. Before you initialize the player, you need to connect to your console. And the reason for this is most likely the people that are watching this, or people that develop tools for Call of Duty, whatever, you're going to be using functions that get and set memory. So once you put those in your structure, if you're calling those functions before you've even connected to your PS3, that instance for that structure is going to be totally jacked up. For instance, if I had a function, I have origin, right? If I had origin in here, and I had some function down here called get origin, and it reads memory from the game, when I initialize my player, if I say this dot origin is equal to some function down here, get origin, it's going to read memory from the game, and it's going to try to store it in that, it's going to convert it to a float or whatever, and it's going to try to store it in that variable. Well, if you haven't connected to your PS3, you're freaking out of luck. It's not going to give you any errors as well, because this is something with another person's DLL, which most likely you're using PS3 lib. So it's not going to give you an error. It's just not going to work in the game. And I'm trying to tell you this right now so you don't freak out when it happens and you're like, oh, source code is elite gay, something he can't explain. He doesn't know how to do structures or whatever. I'm just letting you know that before you connect to your PS3 or before you initialize your structure, if it has anything to do with memory in game, you're going to need to connect first. So, yeah. So we're going to actually, while true, this is just going to keep the main method alive. This is going to keep the console open. We're going to say, actually I'm going to initialize this before. So I'm going to say self is equal to new player. And since self is referring to me as in the host, assuming I'm in a private match, I would be client 0. And my name is Hunter in real life, so IRL. IRL. In real life. Sorry, I did not mean to comment that. My fingers twitched. Okay, so I have a string for my name, and oh my Jesus Christ, Tustin! Oh my God! Oh, he's gonna say this in this video. My freaking volume is turned all the way up, and that Skype notification just rung my ears. Oh my God, Tustin. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. He's gonna laugh about that later. Okay, so I initialized myself after I connect to my PS3. So just say connection code goes here. Okay, so this is where you connect. Arrow, like lead arrow. I've made that in Photoshop. So you're gonna say after you connect, you're gonna say this self is equal to a new player, and you're gonna give it a client ID, and you're gonna give it a string name. So in our main loop, I'm going to say self dot. Now notice when I put a dot, I'm accessing all the functions that we made for that class. And I don't have to pass in a variable. I don't have to pass in any parameters besides the specific data we're working with. Like for example, I don't have to say iPrintLine and then a client number because a client number is already defined for this player. So I can say self.iPrintLine, and then I can give it Tustin scared to shit out of me. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to put that in there. And then when we run this, we should get a constant loop. There were successful build errors. What? Set origin. What? 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 Get origins. Oh my God. God, I'm an idiot. Set. Angles. Angles. Sorry. Sorry for the error. I'm just really tired. Okay, that's fixed. Now we run this. Tustin scared me. You say it says server message too. Actually, I don't know why it's not displaying my name, right? It's not displaying my name. Why is it not displaying my name? We give it a name. Oh yeah, because we didn't set the name up here. So we need to say this dot client name is equal to name or client name. Okay, Hawkeye. So we got that. Oh, that's way too zoomed in. Okay, that's good. Now when we run this, you see it says Hunter right here where I initialize my name. Server message to Hunter, or I could change that and make it print the client ID number, and then the message, which is Tustin really did scare me. Like, I jumped out of my seat when that happened. So that's an example of print line, and I can say self.setOrigin, and then we can give it a new float array of 555. Anybody that has the origin 555 on the map, kick them out of your game because it's probably not possible. So now we can say, this is actually, if I try to print this out in a self.iPrintLine, it's going to give me a system.single array. So to fix that, I'm just going to make a string called origin, and it's going to be an empty string, and then for int I equals 0. I is less than 3, because that's how many coordinates we're working with, I plus plus, and then we're going to say origin plus equals a space, or we're going to say self.get origin, and then that specific float in that array, which will be I at the time in the loop, plus a space to space it out, and then we can say self.iPrintLine, self.iPrintLine, origin plus is the new origin of self dot get name. I never made a function for get name, so I'm just gonna call the. Okay, so I'm just gonna call that variable straight away. Okay, so instead of this being in a loop, I'm gonna make a console.readline. Okay, so now when we run this, server message to Hunter, Tustin scared me. Server message to Hunter, 555 is the new origin because we set our new origin. We can do the same thing for like FOV. We can say set. Wow, this is really like badly wrapped. Oh my god, go away. Okay, self dot set FOV. Let's say I want 90. Okay, so I set my FOV to 90, and then down here I can say self dot I print line self dot get FOV is the current FOV of self.clientName. Okay, so again, made the new FOV value 90, and then I printed to the server, blah blah blah. Hunter, I printed a message to Hunter that the new value of his FOV is 90. So you can see how this can be used in game. I just didn't do it today because I'm not really prepared to do all that because my PS3 is not set up to do all that right now. Anyways, this was my tutorial on how to use structures. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And I really hope Tustin never scares me like that again. So, you guys are awesome. Please rate, comment, and subscribe for more content, and I will be sure to bring it. If you have any requests for tutorials, please leave them in the comments, and I will try to get them. I need tutorials to give people. I need them.